Hi everyone on here, and I'm coming to you with this month's video. I'm glad I'm able to do this month because I've had a few challenges lately, but I'm working my way through them as I always do. And, hopefully that inspires you to work through whatever challenges you're having. For those that aren't familiar with my work, I am an energy mentor. In other words, I understand and have a capacity for uh, understanding the energy currents that are present, what's going on with them. Every year I put out a book called The Code Journey, which is really a great kind of personal guidebook and a great book for um, focusing in on what's happening. It shares what the currents are on a yearly basis, a monthly basis, a daily basis. It has influences around the moon and each month and portal energy and angel energy and all kinds of things. So it's really a valuable resource to have in there and really helps you stay in alignment with where the energies are so that you can keep holding divine alignment along the way. Um, so I love putting that out every year but I also love putting out these videos every month because I have a lot of people that says, it just really helps when you're talking free flow like this and you know, of course, I always have a few notes that I glance at and I look at, so I make sure I cover the points I want to cover. But um, I like to speak freely because I think that helps people to connect with what's happening. And it's not such a rigid format that way. And this month, what I wanted to look at is how things of value will connect with victim energy and how the two of them interact with each other. I think it's a combination we don't really think much about. And by the way, if you like this video, if you like the information in it or whatever, feel free to make a comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Um, subscribe to the playlist, whatever. It helps me out. It helps me out. I'm sorry, I'm not the big marketing person like a lot of people are on YouTube and things like that. But I focus on the work. I focus more on the work than I do marketing. So my apologies on that. But anyways, so what we're looking at is I take a look each month, kind of, what's going on? What are our currents? What are people dealing with? What are maybe some things that are happening in the energy currents that people don't normally think about? And it's always a great area to bring up topics of discussion, to bring up aspects of what's happening, and to kind of get a pulse on where people are at. And so this month, I'm talking about how valuable experiences will connect with our victim energy and how those two things interact with each other. But to get to there, I want to bring up a couple of other things. I mean, right now, some of the things that we forget about when we are looking at things of value is the experiences we're having. I see a lot of people, they're just kind of going through life, and I get guilty of it too. I mean, I get in my ruts, I get in my work mode, and it's like, okay, I'm just going to work and nothing else is happening in life, right? The blinders go on. It's like I can't see anything. I don't get anything else accomplished. And I don't go out and have the experiences sometimes that I need to be having. But I've gotten better. I've gotten better over the years. And I try to take that time to just get more present. I mean, that's obviously one of the things that we need to do when we're having experiences is to really focus on the experience and not worry about all the other stuff in our life. In that moment, allow yourself to immerse into it and adventure. Again, we get stuck in our routines, we get stuck in our patterns, we get stuck in our habits, and we don't stray out of those at all. And when we don't stray out of those, we don't grow. We don't, we start to lose our passion. We start to lose our motivation in things. And then we just become very robotic. And that's one of the things that I think just really kills the spirit for somebody. So I'm very high pro being adventurous. And what is adventurous about? When we're adventurous and we get out there and we start to explore new things and we try different things and we go different places in there. Being adventurous actually will help to restore our health. It will actually help us to clear our mind, to process things, to get a fresh new look on things. And we need to do this. Sometimes it can even just be as simple as taking a walk instead of driving someplace because it gives you a different perspective when you're walking. You see things from a different angle. You're up closer to them. You're more immersed in that environment than you are when you just drive down the street. Um, but I encourage people to just be a little more serendipitous. I love that aspect. I have days now that I make sure I do it regularly, especially if I get stuck in a rut, especially if I am getting caught in patterns, if I feel a block. Sometimes I will just go and I'll just get in the car and drive and just find where I end up and just intuitively go, okay, should I turn this direction or that direction? And maybe I'll go down a new road or I'll find a park or a hiking trail or something that I've not been on before. And I love doing that. Um, or sometimes I'll go down a road that I don't normally go down in a certain season. Because obviously here in Maine, there's certain roads you don't want to go down in certain seasons, but then you don't go down them at all. So these are the things that I think being adventurous is so important because it's such a critical part of having valuable experiences in our life. Um, Another part of creating these valuable experiences connects with traditions. And this is a great time of year to talk about this, right? Because we're in the holidays, and the holidays naturally have a lot of traditions around them. I mean, I can think back like when Jessie was a child, one of the things that was kind of big in her time or just was a bonding time for her and her family had to do with going and driving around the neighborhoods that they lived in and seeing all of the Christmas tree lights up, seeing how people were decorating things. Um, or the traditions of going to Christmas Eve service and doing a candlelight service. I still love to do that personally. There's something about the candlelight service for me personally that provides a deep connection with that divine source, with God, and uh, I love it. There's something peaceful about it for me. There's something where it's like I can just not focus on anything else but that moment, but that connection. Um, I think there's some very powerful things like that, and it's important this time of year to look at what are our traditions. What are the things that uphold it? Because those traditions oftentimes are based in connecting us to things of true value. They're based on experiences. And traditions, interestingly enough, a lot of traditions originated from finding simple ways to honor the season, to honor a holiday or celebration of some sort, right? Birthdays, whatever it was, um, in a way that wasn't all about the money and the presents. Certainly, for a lot of people, that's what it's become over the years. But the traditions really have been a powerful part of culture, of society, of families, of communities. And so these traditions, like I think of even here in my town, I mean, a tree lighting tradition is, is a big tradition in a lot of cultures. And it's just an opportunity, really. It doesn't have to be attached to a particular religion. It can be just community coming together, just people showing up and joining and participating. And I think these things are important. These are really, really important to do. Um, and these traditions are these bonding times, and this is where we have true value. It's not in the presence, it's not in the material things we have. So when we look back on these traditions and the energy code patterns of traditions is to get to the truth of something. It is to find our place in the world and to be confident in that. And the traditions were, when we look at it energetically from that perspective, is to be confident about standing in our own truth and who we are. And being, for lack of better terminology, proud of that, being willing to own that. And I find all around the world there's beautiful traditions, especially at this time of year. All these different cultures, all these different belief systems that have amazing traditions to them. And, in this world where there's so much attacking going on, but, I encourage you maybe to be a little adventurous and to explore a different tradition than what you've normally done before. I think traditions are important, like I said, and I think they're very important to carry through. Um, Even once they passed on, like, things that my family did. It's important to carry through some of those traditions, but I think it's also important that we create our new traditions and that we create that with our own families in there. And so always honoring this combination of heritage, of ancestry, of past, present, and future. Um, a lot of these traditions, again, they were about people coming together. They were about spending quality time with one another. And the tradition was developed as a way to do that. You look at places like Maine, for example, where there gets to be a lot of snow in winter a lot of times. And traditions may have been established as a way to pass the winter. We have certain things like that where there's certain musical get-togethers or things like that that show up like in February, March, things like that around the turning of the seasons. Of course, up here we have, Maple Sunday, which shows up in March, and things like that, which are beautiful traditions that honor divine timing, divine nature of aspects that God created. And it's incredible. And that's something that I knew nothing about before moving here. It's something I learned along the way, and it's something that I love now. I love to honor it both in the spring and the fall. There's two of those times to do it. So finding your traditions is important. And what happens is those traditions then connect us with what holds true value. And a lot more, I find people, one of the things I think I loved, I certainly had, Jessie had a lot of challenges in Utah, but one of the things I loved when she was there that I saw while I was, you know, overseeing things, um, had to do with um, had to do with the creativity, a little bit of the people. Um, they celebrated things a little bit differently there because of the culture, because of the religious influences there. But one of the things I loved was they were always creative about these new traditions that they would do. They would find ways to help people. I remember in the town that she was living in, there was a truck stop not far away, and there's like not much in this town at all. Um, a few stores, but I mean, it's not a big town. And there were some people in the neighborhood that decided to go take meals to the truckers that were there. And it wasn't so much, well, the truckers can't afford them or things like that, but it was one of those things that they felt like these people are away from their families. They're away from their families doing something amazing for us, and we want to honor them. We want to give them something. We want them to know that they're cared about while they're away from home. And that led into a tradition for that family. And it started, and every year it grew and it built, and more people joined in on it. Um, and it just starts with us, an idea that says, wow, I'd love to do this. Wow, what about these people out there? What about the people that are in this situation or that situation? And I would love to open a door for them, or I would love to do something for them. All of the bigger things in life oftentimes start with those ideas. They start with that individual. So we create value that, sometimes just starts with something as simple as that. It starts with caring a lot of times. And it just starts with coming together and conversations. And when you think back and people get nostalgic about old time holidays, and it's like, Yeah, that's what it was about. It wasn't like Christmas Day was always exciting, but in some ways it almost paled in comparison to the buildup. And when I say that, it's because it was all the family time. And as much as family can be irritating at times, they're such a gift and they're such a blessing. And those joys of those days together, those few, that week together, whatever, so powerful and so incredible. And I think, that's where people like in my generation have those nostalgic memories because it was about so much more than the presents. It was that time. It was the cookies baking on the stove, it was these just joining together times. And so I kind of encourage people to do that. And the thing about traditions is they also help to hold us in seasonal rhythms. Now, I've talked about that many times before, but the seasonal rhythms, of course, they keep us healthy and they engage our physical senses. And the cool thing too, when we look at these traditions, even if we look at the food, and a lot of people say, oh, the holiday food's so unhealthy, I gained so much weight, things like that. But really, when we come down to it, there's a lot of healthy options too, even in those seasonal rhythms. I mean, you look at things like cranberry, you look at all the holiday spices, they're incredible, great for the immune system and balancing the blood sugar and, all these different components that are very healthy. And so we can always choose healthier options. I know of somebody that one of the farmers I deal with, and she does do these, wonderful pastries, scones and muffins and things, but she uses half the sugar in them, so they're not loaded down with sugar. And she uses things all off of her farm. So everything is done fresh from, the fruits there and vegetables and things like that. Or she'll exchange with a couple of the other farmers to get something if she wants it. Um, and I love that. Again, it allows these seasonal rhythms and then she changes it out every season. So again, even those things like our food can help to keep us in seasonal rhythms, but we can have the healthier choices of them. So that allows us to follow the traditions, to keep those seasonal rhythms going, to enjoy the holidays, to enjoy what people are doing, but still honor our health, still honor what we need in that process, and be able to enjoy everything without feeling deprived. Now, one of the things I'm encouraging people this holiday season, and this is really hard, so this is going to be a big challenge in the holiday season, is to try to free yourself from schedules and plans. And this is going to be an amazing experience because once we do this, I mean, certainly we have to schedule a little bit, right? Like, when is everybody going to come for dinner or something like that, you're right? But the more you can let go of that and make it more of an open time frame, so maybe, maybe the dinner is a traditional part, but a new tradition might be having snacks out and letting people come and go and flow, between all these other hours. Or, a certain part may be open to friends of family to come and join in, and then certain parts might be just for family. Um, there could be all kinds of ways that we could shake up those plans and those schedules. But when we do that, we're allowing ourselves the opportunity to have the adventures and the experiences. And here again, that becomes so important when we're looking at things, and it allows us to seize the moment. And the more we can seize the moment and to leave the opportunities open to say, if something comes up, we can go to do it and take advantage of it. Um, the more we put ourselves in this flow, the more we open up these energetic currents that give us these experiences of value. So we leave a little bit of space in there. Don't schedule it all. Don't schedule it all. I think that that is very important to do and see what you can do around that. Whether if you're hosting, again, try to make a little more open format if you can do that. If you're going to events, try to see if you can do things that have a little more flexibility and the timing for it, where you can come and go as it works for you. As I age, the more I think about, I don't want to be trapped into having to be someplace for 4 or 5 hours. My body may not hold up to that. I need to be able to leave, or if something's going on, I need to be able to leave and take care of it. Um, so I think that there's that aspect, but there's always staying open for those unexpected opportunities that can be amazing gifts in our life. And so I encourage you to do that. Um, Now, what happens when we start to think about this victim energy is when we do not honor valuable experiences in our life, such as these traditions, these natural cycles, connecting with friends, with family, with partners, with um, sitting out and looking at the night sky. I mean, this time of year, the night skies are oftentimes really beautiful. Unless you've got a big storm on the way in, a lot of times you can get some beautiful star-filled skies, having a campfire. Simple little things like this, or putting a fire in the fireplace, are wonderful, just quiet sort of times to have. Um, but if we're not honoring these times, if we're just focused on the presence, if we're just focused on the material things, if we're just focused on we got to rush here, we got to rush there, we don't have time for anything else, we can't, honor this little fun skating rink or holiday fair or whatever else that's going on, we got to go, 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 right? Um, if we're not honoring the things of value, it increases our victim energy. The more we lock ourselves into these schedules, the more we try to pack everything too tight, the more that we ignore the traditions and we just continue on in work mode like it's any other day, um, the more we put ourselves in victim spaces. We bring our energy down. We have a greater tendency to go into depressions. We have a greater tendency um, to just stress, to get lost, to tune out. And that drops us into these victim energy patterns. So we definitely want to do as much as we can to honor valuable experiences. And I think that this is part of why depression naturally comes up around the holidays, because the emphasis normally is on presence instead of valuable experiences. And I always encourage people, I know, I think I've said it the last couple of years in particular, but instead of doing presents this year, give yourselves a family vacation, or um, just take time and get rid of the cell phones, for a few hours or a couple of days. That would be ideal if you could do it, and just really spend the time interacting with each other. Maybe find a place to focus your energy, or people to focus your energy on, and to do something that is community service based, or to gather together as a family and go to a charity event, or to do something for people who can't do for themselves. I mean, this is the essence of the season, and these are the memories that really will stick with children, that will give them something really to grab onto. But when we get totally focused just on the material things, we are going to increase our depression, because we increase our sense of lacking our self-worth. We don't feel adequate a lot of times. We don't feel like what we've done is enough, or we try to overdo things, or all the emphasis is put on that, and there's nothing left. That's kind of an empty shell. It doesn't last for a long time like an experience does. Experience gives us a memory that will last a lifetime. It gives us something to always reflect on. It gives us something that reaches into our heart, and that's a powerful thing. Um, And we resolve this victim energy by keeping things simple and free. By, again, just spending time together. When was the last time you all sat around a campfire together and did s'mores? And you can even do that in healthy ways these days. There's always, always options. Or you can create something new or add a twist to it or whatever. So keeping things simple and free, because that is where the value is found, is in that simple and free experiences. Again, donate time to help those in need, because that reminds us how much we have to be grateful for. When we are helping those people who are truly in need, it really connects us with, wow, I just, all the things we take for granted, right? A roof over our head, shelter, food in our stomachs, the things that we just don't think about on a day-to-day basis. And it's just like, oh, yeah, I got plenty of money, just run to the store, just, open the refrigerator up, everything's full. We've got tons of stuff here. And a lot of people, even if they're not living an extravagant lifestyle, they're not worrying about those basic needs. So again, I encourage you to look around. And these are powerful experiences for children to have. Go to a soup kitchen and let them see what it's like there, because it will connect them with this aspect of, look at how fortunate you are. All of these people struggle. All of these people need these meals. Um, and those are the things that they're so powerful. And it opens our heart. It reminds us what we've got to be grateful for. It can connect us with our sense of mission or purpose, and it will show us what we really care about. You've heard me talk. I like to go to the animal shelter and give my time there, and that is so important for me to do. It's kind of a lifeline for me. It really is. And even the animal shelter celebrates the holidays. They put up a Christmas tree and they, have Christmas presents that they give the animals to open, and it's really great. It's really great in that sense. And when we start to do these things, this is what we, again, find out what we care about. It can be people, it can be community gardens, it can be, feeding people who are hungry, it can be, providing shelter for people. It can open all kinds of doors and ideas. And these are qualities that we want to cultivate. These are the spiritual qualities that we want our children to develop. Yes, we want them to have good ethics, but we also want them to, and we want them to have a strong, maybe income or a good lifestyle, but we also want them to be grateful for that. And we also want them to um, recognize how blessed they are. And we also want them to have a heart and to care about other people and life on the planet, animals and plants and whatever else out there. So I encourage you over this next month of December, look at your regular traditions, honor those traditions, see if you can start a new tradition. Um, I think it's absolutely wonderful the things I hear people do where they, like, I have friends, they love to cook, and now they start asking people to come to dinner every Thanksgiving. And I think it's great. They'll invite somebody who won't cook for themselves. Um, they invite, people that just are important in their life, and they love to do it. And it's just kind of a great thing for everybody. And they will go and serve food, to the community as well. Um, find the ways you can do it. Look at these things and see how many valuable experiences you can create in December, and free that schedule up for some of them. So with that, I'm going to wish you, all a wonderful December. I've got one more video to cut for this year. I can't believe we're at the end of the year. And I will see you next month in December. Take care, and make sure you head over to the website, compassioncodes.com, look up the code journey and the 2026 edition. You'll see it right there. The links are on the page for under books, the code journey, and the links are right there to get you directly to the purchase pages for that. And check it out and take some time and enjoy that. Give yourself a gift, as long as you're looking for gifts for other people as well. And this book is not just a gift. It's not just a material thing. It is a valuable experience that you can give somebody. Take care, everybody.